clerk.
Are you ready?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, we want to call to order and welcome to everyone present and online. And may we have a roll call, please?
Cool. Nothing on your screens, I suppose. Okay. Commissioner Wisnowski-Stalin.
Present.
Commissioner Mascali. Commissioner Fleischer.
Present.
Vice Chair O'Carroll.
Present.
And Chair Williams. All are present.
And you can cross your heart if you like, and go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. I'd like to request any public comment for items not on the agenda.
We have one public comment. Alicia Ide.
I'm Alicia Ide. I am a city employee. However, I am here tonight representing the Culver Arts Foundation. I just wanted to provide a couple updates of things that happened in the past couple meetings that are directly relevant to Cultural Affairs Commission programs. In November, Culver Arts approved an artist project grant for filmmaker Philippe Rock for $5,000 for a documentary film focused on artist laureate Katie Krantz, and in particular, her project at the gun store that has since begun. And I don't know if he has reached out to any of you, but that project should be completed along with the gun store mural. Let's wait and see. In January, the foundation approved a $4,000 grant to Katie Krantz to cover the cost to support a local artist, Culver City artist, Brooklyn Wildflowers, to work with Katie on the gun store project. These costs were not originally included with her proposal that was approved by City Council, so she reached out to the foundation to make sure that this artist would be well compensated for her work in addition to Katie. We hope these two items can potentially be included in the things that Culver Arts has funded in the work plans referenced. I also would have something else when we get to that item, but that's it for now. Thanks.
Great. Are we in receipt of any correspondence?
We received two public comments in advance of the meeting. They were a letter from Jim Clark on behalf of Culver Arts and another comment which I sent to you today, and those have been forwarded by email and will be part of the record. That's all.
Okay, then the consent calendar items. Number one, CAC approval of minutes of the regular meeting of January 16th, 2024. Does anybody have any corrections, exchanges, or additions?
I just have one. It's not big. It's just in the first, under action items, one, it says Katie Krantz, period, artist laureate. Probably shouldn't be a period, be
I
a
see it.
comma. Not a big deal.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Should we,
Does anybody, is there a motion. Do you have it on your screen?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yay. So in this case, we're going to do approve as amended, and moved by Vice Chair O'Carroll, seconded by Commissioner Wisniewski-Stalin. Start voting. The motion passes with 5 ayes.
CAC consideration of 1, fiscal year 2023-24 Cultural Affairs Work Plan updates, and 2, fiscal year 24-25 Cultural Affairs Work Plan priorities, and 3, provide comments and/or make recommendation to the city manager as appropriate. We can start with the first attachment, which is the Cultural Affairs Work Plan status updates.
We do have one public comment for this. You can either take it now or after the presentation, whatever you prefer. It's Alicia again. Right, bye. It's Alicia.
Well, yeah, so we know, yeah, it has context, because right now,
Okay, great.
great.
Okay. So, today we are presenting a summarized version of this annual slideshow. It starts with a review of the current fiscal year work plans with photos and recent accomplishments. The written status updates that were part of the agenda packet include a lot more detailed information, so we're not going to repeat all of that here. That status report is still a draft. It's going to be shortened. There's potentially a new format, and it's going to be combined with the other city manager work plan reports and presented to City Council. Sam and I are going to discuss some recent updates on the current projects, and then we can answer any questions. So number 1 is this photo from the all-staff holiday party. Hopefully next year we can get Jesse in a photo. But this is what we have for now. And then naturally, the first item on our work plan is the Cultural Affairs Commission and all the core functions of the division. In case you didn't see it, this photo was also part of an article that Christine wrote for the November 2023 issue of Culver City Neighbors magazine. One of the things we added this year to the report was an update about the many trainings and staff administrative tasks included in serving this commission. The next item is the work that we do with other city departments and divisions. It's an element of the work plan that's very difficult to predict. It often comes with complex research and unexpected questions. One recent example is the AB 1600 Development Impact Fee Report that the Finance Department has recently published on the city website. These are mandatory reports. They were posted on the city website in December, and I do recommend that you go look at it. It's complex but very important. If you search for AB 1600, ours is the second one right here, Art in Public Places fee report. And you'll see some information about how the Cultural Trust Fund is allocated. It was something that took extensive research, a lot of history, financial history, and it's not something that we were aware of when the work plan was adopted last year. So we wanted to mention some of those kind of things that have come up. And then this is another one that wasn't really contemplated in the work plan, how much the staff and the Performing Arts Subcommittee were involved in the Economic Development Department's concert series. And those are just two examples of ways that we share our expertise and we share information with other departments. Next, we're going to have Sam give us an update on some of the public art projects.
Good evening, esteemed commissioners. Just wanted to go over the new artworks. Oh, can we go back one slide? We're going to go, I'll talk about the new artworks that are coming into Culver City, new developments, collections management, and then finally the restoration, conservation, maintenance that we do. Okay, so we'll jump to the first one. This is Charles Gaines. I'm happy to say that after a year and change, we have just completed the contract agreement with Charles Gaines Studio. So we're ready to sort of move ahead in the next steps. Charles Gaines, as you know, is serving as a kind of artist consultant. He will be providing the design team with the conceptual design for the artwork, and his responsibility is really to give feedback at each development stage as needed. So from creation to the final design, fabrication methodology, project budget, landscaping, and lighting plans. So I've been working with Dyson and Womack to complete the different milestones. There are a total of 4. We are coming up to the second one, actually the third. Go to the next slide. So I'm also working on a big artwork install that is coming up, hopefully. This is the Mark Furness, his artwork, The Grove, that's going to be installed, hopefully, well, it will be installed in the Culver, or in front of the Culver steps. And so since Christine Byers' retirement, I've been working with Bo Bass of LaBass Projects to move this artwork along. Currently, various city departments are conducting plan check review. And next steps would be essentially to figure out the color for the final decision of the artwork. There were good discussions in the past with Bo and the Cultural Affairs Commission regarding the color scheme. There was the discussion of having an all-white sculpture or a two-tone with a couple of green shades on the interior with the white exterior. They're exploring that aspect now. There's been a significant cost increase in the color, and so they're trying to determine that. The next step would be for Bo to come back to the Public Arts Subcommittee for final approval on the color once the developer determines that. And then from there, we're going to, or they will source fabricators for bids. And then the installation, I just want to add that it will be kind of an all-hands-on-deck situation involving multiple city departments, including Econ Dev and Public Works, in addition to Cultural Affairs. So these are our other developments that are ongoing in various stages, and so I just wanted to list them here for you just as reference, and I'm sure I'll be providing updates as we progress through this list in the future. And then one more new artwork project is the Farragut Connector. Joe Suska and I have been working in tandem to kind of launch this project. The Farragut Connector, as you know, is a pedestrian passageway that connects Jasmine Avenue and Jackson Avenue. So this project involves demolition of the existing path and the construction of a new concrete passageway that is banked by landscaping on both sides. And so I am managing the art component of the project. And the space that the art component encompasses is 42 inches by 10 feet. And it's along this 135-foot wall that is that straddles the property line next door. So if you're looking at this diagram, the space where the arrow is pointing in the middle section, you'll see that's the slot that is proposed for the art component. Now, the original design could stem from visual mediums not limited to mosaic or tiled art, but its final form would be translated into a tiled art installation. And so we are in the process of launching the request for qualifications, hopefully next week or beginning of March. And then after that, we will vet through the selection or the submissions, and then we will issue the request for proposal for the small selection of artists that are kind of vetted. The request for proposal will be issued in April, and then finalists and alternate will be selected by June. And then we hope to install the artwork in fall 2024 or spring 2025. And then one more. So here's a refresh of a project that is currently installed. Joshua Callahan's refresh of his Almost Invisible Boxes series. They're currently wrapped with his design. So what I've been working with is doing a refresh with Joshua. These are mock-ups of the some of the utility boxes that he will be rewrapping. And so there are 17 utility boxes in total. I'm just only showing you 4. The previous idea was actually to blend the utility boxes within the environment. This new idea, this new refresh, is to kind of disrupt that and to make them jump out. And so for the viewer, as they're walking up to it, would kind of be startled by kind of this direct, very drastic, sort of representation of the environment. And I'm hoping to work with Dustin Kleinman to promote the series. In discussion with the artists, we're thinking of starting a program maybe just to kind of promote it, bring some energy, more energy to downtown, maybe doing like a Instagram selfie project where viewers can take selfies in front of these boxes, submit it to us, and then the most posted, we would then, give them like prizes of some kind, like especially like something like this, our 35th anniversary tour book, downtown cultural tour book. So something exciting to look forward to. And then one more new art installation is Nate Muller's new Culver Current. We are currently in discussion about when he's going to be installing this. We're hoping that maybe in April is when he will be done with his new video install, and then we'll do follow-up promotional activities surrounding that. Okay, I'm going to shift gears and then move into like annual maintenance and extensive conservation projects. And so these are, we can go to the next slide, yeah. So these are the artworks that we've completed this year in terms of the annual maintenance, coordinating with the respective conservators to preserve these pieces, the Lion's Fountain, homage to La Bayona Creek, A Moment in Time, Moving Pictures, and also Path of Life. And so these are all, as you know, in various locations throughout Culver City. Jump ahead. Okay, so here's one artwork that requires more extensive conservation. Right now, we're in the works of creating a railing to protect this artwork, and this is in Carlson Park. So the railing and landscaping will hopefully mitigate some of the activities that have taken place near the artwork on this elevated platform. And then 3 more artworks that are going to require extensive coordination, which is the Hanging Garden, and then La Bayona, and then also across the street, Truth or Fiction. Those are going to require, as I mentioned, quite a bit of work. That will be coming up. Hopefully, we can get started this year, but it may obviously go over to next year, so.
Okay, the ordinance update research, it's still ongoing. We're going to be getting a lot more information about that and next steps at future CAC meetings. And the Historic Preservation Program is being temporarily, we're being temporarily assisted by Emily Stadnicki. That's the current planning manager who started pretty recently and has previously worked at the city of Pasadena in design and historic preservation. So Emily is currently assisting us on a temporary basis, and Sam has some updates about historic preservation as well.
Yeah, so recently I've been working with various departments like GIS, planning, ITS departments. My role is to verify the historical designated properties and also the permanent public art collection in our city. And so I've been flagging all of the addresses and making sure that they have been historically designated, you know, with the different designations, like, you know, is it a landmark? Is it significant? So on and so forth. So that's also, that has taken up quite a bit of time. That this project wasn't in our work plan, so this just came up, and so we're focusing on that right now.
And then a few other of the historic resource projects that happened during this fiscal year was quite an extensive amount of work with Johnson Favreau about historic designations at Veterans Memorial Building. And that was part of their feasibility study. So there's a whole section of that that's about historic preservation. And there are several other preservation projects that are still proceeding. This is, if you haven't seen it, this is the ongoing restoration at the American Legion building on Hughes. I highly recommend driving by there during the day. It looks, this is a, you know, a historical picture, but I think you'll be pretty impressed when you see the real thing. My understanding is that it's going to be used as executive offices for the hospital. It's on their property. Next is the Performing Arts Grant Program, and of course, I could do an hour just on this program, but I will try to be brief. The payment and the reporting for the 2023 grant awards are still just about finishing up. This is a photo from the Actors Gang show at Media Park. It was called, this is last summer, it was called Much Ado About Pooh, and it was a mashup of Shakespeare and Winnie the Pooh. And then this is a first-time grant recipient, Indian Performing Arts Center. Overall, audience attendance at grant performances seems to be almost back to pre-pandemic levels. This group had 115 people at just one performance. In their evaluation, they included positive feedback about the venue being close to Indian businesses and temples, which helped them to attract an audience. But they also said that explaining parking options to ticket holders was difficult. Not surprising, but, you know, it's an ongoing issue. And then, starting last August, it began accepting grant applications for 2024. And as you know, we had a very good response. We awarded many grants, and with the help of the subcommittee members, and awarded many grants, with the help of the subcommittee members. Increasing the size of the program does come with administrative challenges, so that process is being improved for future grant cycles. I also had something at the end. So 14 grant contracts for 2024 have been finalized. The other 16 are in progress. And then the Kirk Douglas Theater recently hosted an LA Writers Festival, and it featured all local LA playwrights. They have reported that attendance was their highest yet for this festival. There's going to be many grant performances during 2024. I hope you will all have an opportunity to attend. And then, because was on the work plan, I wanted to, well, excuse me, this was not on the work plan, but it's a project we've been working on this year. And I pulled up the last Music in the Chambers flyer from 2012, just as an example. The program started in 2002, and Culver City partnered with the LA Philharmonic for the artists throughout that series. Edgar from Economic Development has been involved in discussions about what options we have for this program, and we've gotten some information from theater consultants about pricing, technical assistance, and equipment so far. So this was something that we added this year. And then the Artist Laureate program has been very active this fiscal year. Katie has already shared details about many of the workshops, pop-ups, and community events that have been taking place all over the city. Publicity and participation in this have really been great. In addition to the promotion that Cultural Affairs has directly been doing, it's been really helpful to have Communications Manager Dustin Kleeman assisting with social media. I recently met with Dustin about how he can advise or assist with publicity for other Cultural Affairs programs as well. But this post got way more engagement than most of our grant posts. It included.
So the next project I'm really excited about. So this, I've been working with Katie, also with Jesse and Lee's help. The project that we're talking about is Dear Culver City. It's an art installation at City Hall. The exhibition dates for this installation will start April 15 and then end June 10. This exhibition is on the first floor in front of the City Hall entrance. The opening reception for this project is on Tuesday, April 16, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I just want to note that this is actually the same night as our April Cultural Affairs Commission meeting. So we thought it would be great to combine them. Now, I'm sorry. That's the plan. I just wanted to shout out to Edgar Varela and Dustin Kleeman. They have been, they're helping us with promoting this event. The reception will be in the City Hall courtyard. We'll have light refreshments. We'll have special guests. Hopefully the mayor or one of the council members will do opening remarks. Chair Williams, I spoke with her a couple of days ago. She agreed to also join in with the opening remarks. And it's a special night because, as you know from Katie's presentation last month, she talked about having commissioned a number of poets to create poems based on the words that the community had provided through that public engagement project that she did. And so they will be, the poets will be in attendance and will be reading from their poems. And the next project, as you know, this is a temporary art mural at 11029 Washington Boulevard. I just wanted to show you the mural in progress. I went there, I think, last week or week before. I took some pictures from that, and it's moving along quite well. I think it's really stunning. I think coming down Washington Boulevard and seeing that on the building is really quite beautiful. Now, Katie has hired two assistants, Valentina Trentini of Trentini Signs and Brooklyn Flowers to help paint the mural. They're both muralists, and so they have been instrumental. Now, 3 community volunteers have also been helping with the mural. They were all high school students, and so they'll continue to do that until the mural is completed. So that's it.
Next is a section all about promotion and publicity. The Probably the biggest one right now is the red books. People are starting to pick them up. We've added several displays at City Hall. I was very happy to come in here today and only see 2 books left. We've taken them to hotels. We put some at the Village Well. Culver Arts is giving them out, and the Historical Society is also distributing them. We'll continue to get them out to lots of locations and at events. And we're planning some online publicity as well to let people know about the new books and where to get them. So this is the display page that I put behind the books, just in a pile on a table. And then we have quite a few other promotional projects that are ongoing. The written report has all the detail about those. I just pulled up this one, the most recent article that Christine wrote for Culver City Neighbors magazine. And then also separately, Culver City Neighbors featured Katie as well. And then the general plan update. There are many sections of the general plan update that focus on cultural affairs programs and the creative economy in general. Cultural affairs staff, as well as other city departments, have been working on this document for years, and this plan is going to be with us for the next 20 years. And then the staff and commissioners have participated in last July's kickoff of a 5-year countdown to the Olympics opening ceremony. Other Olympics planning is also ramping up, and we mentioned that in the written report. And then our work with Culver Arts is ongoing. They are especially involved with the Artist Laureate program this year and contributed as partners towards that program. This is Culver Arts' recently launched Community Arts Calendar. We're encouraging grantees to add their performance information to this. The calendar on the city website is only for city-sponsored events, but their calendar can include all arts events in Culver City. So we are, encouraging people to use that as well. And then the last 2 projects on the work plan for the current year are the Community Cultural Plan and the Powers and Duties of the Commission. And status updates for both of those are included in the written report. And then the next slides are the 20 projects for the 2024-2025 fiscal year work plan. We can either go straight into those or pause to talk about the current fiscal year. Which do you prefer?
I suggest we pause and discuss
Okay.
the first matter and then go through the following year.
Okay. And we do have a public comment for this one. I'm going to turn on your microphone. Can you say that one more time?
Sorry,
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm sick. We will get the public comment first, and then we'll follow that with a discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Alicia Ide. Again, I'm a city employee, but I'm here representing the Culver City Arts Foundation. And my comments are going to address both the updates as well as the new work plans, because I didn't know you guys were going to break them up. So Jim could not be here tonight, but he has sent in a letter with a number of recommendations for inclusion in the Cultural Affairs Division work plans for fiscal year 24-25. His recommendations mirror our last year's recommendations, and I'm here to both reemphasize those recommendations, but also to add a few others, of course. Please, if you could take a look at page 7 of the fiscal year 23-24 updates. I believe that Katie organized significantly more events for Dear Culver City project than the 12 that are listed, I believe, and I just wanted to highlight that one issue. For many years now, we have been requesting that the new work plans each year provide more detail as to at least some of the specific activities that will be undertaken under the very general headings included annually. Details such as we see in the updates, for example. For a few years now, we have been advocating for implementation of a number of art projects that would advance the work of local artists and increase art interactions throughout the city. Such projects include a streetlight banner project throughout the city, utilizing local artists and student artists and frequently rotating. A project working with private building owners to provide opportunities for local artists to paint murals throughout the city. A project to utilize windows of vacant first-floor commercial office space for art exhibits and projections, such as was done at Helms during the pandemic. And a program to distinguish our city borders with local artist art projects. We ask that the city take a leadership role in developing and implementing these and similar projects. However, the foundation would like the opportunity to work in partnership and is prepared to discuss how we may assist in their implementation. As you have all heard from me many times at all the community meetings over the past 9 months, the foundation has been working to advocate to ensure there is a significant art component in the planning and implementation of the reimagining of Vets Park. Of course, what is missing from those plans is the municipal art gallery and community arts center. And we will continue to advocate for the development of such a city resource, potentially making use of city property, such as the gun store. We hope to work with the city and this commission to plan to make these resources a reality, advocate for these projects in the community, and raise the money necessary to make them a reality. We also hope to be included in planning for the Olympics. As we develop such resources, the foundation suggests a marketing program and visibility campaign for the Culver City Cultural Corridor along Culver Boulevard from the Venda to Actors Gang. In addition to these new projects, the foundation hopes to continue to partner with the city and this commission on the Artist Laureate Program and the Summer Concert Series, and work together to develop new projects and other potential art activities, such as the Music and Changers projects that was just mentioned. We request that the fiscal year 23-24 work plan updates reflect monies given by Culver Arts for city programs that are not currently listed. The foundation initiated advocacy for restarting the Summer Concert Series last summer and raised and contributed $33,000 in a very short time to make the concerts a reality last summer. We have had brief discussion with city staff regarding a continuing partnership in this coming summer's plan, and we hope to assist. Already mentioned earlier in the meeting, Culver Arts has issued 2 additional grants that we request be added: a grant to the filmmaker Philip Brock for $5,000 for a documentary focused on the artist laureate Katie Krantz, and $4,000 grant to Katie Krantz for additional artist costs associated with her city-sponsored gun store project. Finally, we are requesting that going forward, the city confer with the foundation in advance, early in planning, to secure funding for city projects. Our fiscal year begins in July, and beginning with the coming fiscal year, most major funding commitments for the year will be allocated in the budget at that time for the first time, so we wanted to give everyone a heads up. We hope that we can continue to work as a partner with the city and commission to support artists and art organizations and advance arts engagement and arts education within the city of Culver City community. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question for you. Is that appropriate? So, your list of requests sounds reasonable about everything. Was there a budget made along with that so that we know what the funding you would expect it to be on that way? Is that our responsibility? I mean, you just heard all the things that they're doing, and they are 2.5 people at this point. So I just wanted to know how would this, how adding that would work. So what is the budget? Is that 100,000? Is it 50,000? Is this something that can be raised?
Yes, well, I think that's exactly what we're asking, is to have this conversation earlier. In the past, we've simply been sent a letter asking us for our contribution to, say, the Artist Laureate Program. Last year, we didn't get asked for monies to contribute to the Performing Arts grants, and we were surprised by that because we'd been holding that money in assumption that we would be asked for it. So that's why we ask that we get have a little conversation a little earlier in the planning process for some of these projects, so that we can tell you how much we think we might be able to raise, how much of the budget we can allocate to the city projects, how much support we can give in other ways. So that's our hope in the coming year. Does that answer your question?
So I'm just trying to figure out, because if you could say, well, for the sort of art on the windows of storefronts, give me a figure for that, that would be great, that we know what we're working with and maybe how to figure it out, and how many windows, how many stores. Would we start with 20? Would we start with 50? We don't expect to do the whole thing at one fell swoop. So, we need to know those kinds of things also, because again, it's going to be 3 staff members. Thank you.
Sure.
Commissioners, Leora, let's start with you.
First of all, Alicia, thank you very much for that comment, and I just want to say thank you so much to the Culver City Arts Foundation for all that they do. They are a very well-oiled machine and do tremendous fundraising and contributions in so many ways to the city. So thank you very much. There were many really good ideas in the letter, and that would include economic development, because I think that'd be a really important project for the identity of Culver City. So I'm now just going to move on to the work plan. I had some questions. My first question's page 2. Under the new development and new permanent artworks in progress, the 12300 Washington Boulevard. I didn't understand the final sentence. It says staff, as we know, that project was declined. The sentence says staff consulted with building ownership and art consultant to finalize APPP fulfillment options. I didn't understand the context of the word finalize.
So they still have to do the APPP, even though that artwork was not accepted. So they're going to pay.
Oh, okay.
But it's not really, we don't list who pays, who does artwork necessarily. But
I see, but
they
that's what-
opted- They considered, remember they were talking here, well, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that. But ultimately, they decided to just contribute rather than do artwork.
Okay, so that's what finalize means. Okay,
There could be a better word.
okay. My other question for page 2 is the Mark Fornes project.
Fulfill? Do you like fulfill?
Satisfy their obligations under
Satisfy
the
their
program?
obligation, yes.
The Mark Fornes project. I had heard that because of cost, they were considering scaling down the size of the project. Is that right?
I looked at the plans, and it does not appear that way, but I believe that I will have a follow-up conversation with Bo, because there are other things that came up from the reviewing of the plans that they submitted for the final design. And so in terms of scale, I was told that it's not going to vary from the original concept, so.
Okay. But there are some variations. There are some changes in the,
I can go into that. So in the original concept or the conceptual design, there were 8 lights. In the final design, or the plans that they submitted, there were 2 additional lights. So that's, a total of 10 versus 8. That's a question that I'm put in for them to clarify. One structural point seemed like it was moved in from the original design that I saw. The structural points, the top right quadrant, it was in the plaza, but it looked like in the final drawing design, it seemed like it was pushed in. So those are the deviations that I'm trying to get clarification on.
And the color, I know that that came up at when they presented, and the color is still up in the air too.
Right, yeah, the color, the developer is determining that right now. I think comes down to cost.
Okay, because I mean, obviously color is so important. So my big picture question is, will this project come back before the commission?
It definitely will, because it's going to go to the Public Art Subcommittee for final approval of the color, and then I believe it would be brought back to the full commission, so everyone is on the same page.
That's correct.
Okay, great, thank you. My next, these are just some comments about wording on page 7 regarding Katie Krantz. I also noticed that it only mentioned 12 in-person events, and I think she's done many more.
More than, I looked at her list, and there were
Right.
12 listed, but
I
that's
thought
why
it
I
was
said
more
more.
like 20 odd, but anyhow, okay.
I'll just leave off a number, so it's not.
This is a semantics thing, but I would prefer where it says Katie can't, this is the top line. Katie Krantz proposed and began public outreach. Rather than use the word began, I think it should be launched. Because she's been so proactive, and I think that just better reflects.
Good word.
And then also where it says staff assisted with organizing and promoting, I think it should read staff assisted Katie Krantz with organizing and promoting. And then my final comment is on page 9. Under the Culver City Arts Foundation. I don't know if you should mention that the subcommittee attends their meetings, retreat, and events or not.
So that's on your report.
Okay.
Remember the report you did for city council? We're very careful here to differentiate between staff work.
I was wondering about
This
that.
is the division and the work
I
that you
understand.
guys do. Which is, we're also careful to not mix what other divisions or groups are doing, which is one of the things, Culver Arts works with several other, with other divisions that are not strictly cultural affairs. So that's why we don't include those.
Okay. Great. That's it for me. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Alicia, thank you for the report, first of all, on Culver Arts. I just wanted to mention regarding that is I too advocate for welcome art at the boundaries of Culver City. And I think we've mentioned as a body a couple times that especially it'd be great to have that up for when the Olympics come. So when people from all sides, maybe from the air when they parachute in, that it's Culver City from on top of the buildings, just like in the old-timey photos. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities, right? I mean,
Especially with all the thousands of people that are going to be coming from LAX and many of them passing surface streets into Culver City, that one, is it Centinela or something? Yeah, yeah, I think that corner can use a little
love,
sprucing.
artistic
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, some artistic,
and
some flowers, some lights, more
intense sprucing.
bigger letters. Yeah, whatever, just put it in
Glitter.
their face. Welcome to Culver City.
A lot of glitter. Yeah, so, so I totally agree, and I think that this body supports all that as well. And I don't know, I'm not in the Olympics committee, but I think there's all kinds of different ways that kind of project could be supported and put in maybe into a long-term work plan. I don't know exactly what subcommittee that kind of thing would go under, but anyway, I'd like to see that somewhere. I was wondering on page 9, also, Alicia talked about the donations to support the artist laureate on that mural. Is that a place to put that as well?
They're not cultural affairs. They're not for cultural affairs, but maybe there's, This is meant to be the work that the division did, but,
Because I know we have city staff over there too doing things, right? Well, didn't they put up, not for the arts, but put up barriers so nobody would walk in there and things like that?
Why don't we take a look at what finance tells us the new format is going to be? Because I have a feeling it's going to be considerably shorter than in the past and less detail.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah. So we'll take your note. You're going to see this again, I believe, before, well, this will be presented in public
Okay.
many times, I think, during the work plan meetings, et cetera. So there'll be a chance to look at it again, but I don't want us to get bogged down with this
Sure.
particular issue because I have a feeling finance is going to provide us a very formalized standard write-up of how to do these work plans. They wanted to change it this year.
To have them all look uniform?
Yeah, so there may not even be room to include things like specific dollar amounts. That's my sense.
Speaking of that, there already is a new format. This is new letterhead. This is a whole different look, right?
what?
Doesn't this look completely different, or am I just?
No.
As of last year, I think it looked like this.
So in the
There's
past.
a blue
we-
bar and there's the logo. It just looks a little
In
different.
the past, we put this text in the staff report. But this is the ultimate format that goes into. We just didn't, and that, I don't know, this felt like the staff report was too long, and this is the format we used last year, so that's why I did it as a separate document instead of in the staff report.
All right, I like it. That was my point. I thought it looked good.
And all
I
of
thought
the
it was
work
easy to
plans,
read. Yeah.
All of the work plans were on this format for everybody last year.
All right, well, I like it. I don't remember. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm fine, if there is room in the work plan, I'm fine with saying something like, staff facilitated the donation of the Culver City Arts Foundation of X amounts and putting the amounts, having it documented. I can understand why the Arts Foundation is interested in having it documented in some formal way, which is fine. They deserve that.
Yeah, and also calls attention to the community collaboration of that specific project too. I think it's a pride point for a lot of people in the community.
Do you think it would be better in the Katie Krantz stuff about the mural?
Yeah.
Okay.
Culver Arts mentioned the arts component in the Veterans Park reimagining, and this is just a note to self to talk about that later, because I do want to also ensure that that continues. Because I partly attended a meeting the other day where I'm worried. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you so much for all those different reports. I just had one question. I apologize, I don't have the Culver City's red book memorized, but this circular digital outside
Yeah.
mother
For
of,
current?
yeah, mother of pearl looking thing. I don't know if it was included in the repairs, but one of the tiles is missing on that thing.
That was, Sam mentioned that the artist is in the process of,
Oh, so that's already underway.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
Not only physical repairs, but a new show,
A new digital
a new
show.
digital show.
Awesome.
So the artist is very, very involved in that.
Okay, cool. The second point that I had was, you guys mentioned briefly that there's a few buildings that have historical significance that are registered. Is there a place where, similar to the artwork, where we're like archiving and publicizing and, listing all the places where we have public art, is there kind of like a parallel program for architecture?
Well, there's art as architecture. A number of buildings are listed because of the art as architecture. And then,
But what about just?
you mean on the website?
Yeah, like on the
There's a
website
page for
or?
let me take a look. There's a page for historic preservation. Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
I don't, but on our website, we have the list of the collection, the permanent public art collection. And the architecture as art is also part of that.
Okay, but then I think under our purview is also just plain buildings that are that do have historic significance and are protected. Is that not under us or no? That's, don't we have to work on the historic preservation part of it anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, which we've been ignoring and putting on the back burner for like 4 years now, it seems.
Well, there's actually quite a lot of work that went into this year. We have a consultant, we contributed several.
Oh, yes, we hired someone
made
to-
several reports that were requested by other city departments or
Okay.
for planning. Let me check our website. I know there's.
There
an
is-
historic
there is a
preservation
webpage on
page,
it.
but
Yeah,
I
there
don't
should be,
remember
right?
what the.
Yeah. And it has a list of.
Yeah, it has a list, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that has not been a page that I've spent a lot of time on, which is why we've asked somebody from planning to help us with this, because this is not,
Great.
neither one of us have a huge involvement in this so far.
Yeah, the page could use a little love.
Yeah, yeah.
a little
There's
dry.
actually quite a few pages, there's like
Yeah.
5 pages with structures. We do very much rely on the Historical Society for a lot of this. And I think Hope had planned to be here tonight, but, so they're partners in
Sure.
that too.
Yeah, maybe, I'm just thinking it might not be a bad idea to try to invigorate that a little bit
It's
more.
this page is pretty out of date.
Yeah, so it kind of maybe comes a little bit more closer on par to the attention we're giving to the public art.
Yeah.
But that's it, those are the only 2 comments I had, but great work.
And what Sam is doing by labeling everything in the planning system is going to be huge. Making sure that every place has an address, is correctly labeled so that, you know, there's no question about what the status is. And it's been labeled, but not fully, right? A lot of things were missing or.
I'm going through the records now and just making sure that they're in our system, that are flagged, you know, and as such, and the designation has been given to that particular address, whether it's the artwork or, you know, whether it's the historical building. A lot of cleaning up. Well, not a lot, but some cleaning up of records as well, so.
Thank you. Thanks, Alicia, for that, and thank you, staff, for an incredible report. And we're only halfway through, so I'll try to keep this short. Regarding Culver Arts, and I know somewhere in this report is something about the MOU with Culver Arts, and I feel like until that MOU is redefined, that we're going to keep having these back and forths, and so I'm hopeful that perhaps in the next year we can codify this. I mean, since Culver Arts became a nonprofit separated from the city, it's grown exponentially, and they're offering ideas and money, and we're just not ready to handle it. And I think that's what you were referring to, because the ideas are great. I totally support what Commissioner Wisniewski-Stalin said about the Olympics and making sure that our borders are really well-defined and artistic. So I would just I think we need to start there and work from there. And so the subcommittee has a lot on their hands to be able to make that happen. But obviously, we are so appreciative of everything that Culver Arts has done, also in supporting Katie and making all of her projects really come to life. I did have a few questions regarding the Farragut passageway. Is that going to go by the subcommittee through the Public Arts Subcommittee at all? Or is that going to be entirely handled by staff in terms of the artist that's chosen and the art that's going to go up there?
It's going to be handled internally in terms of me coordinating the steps, but the selection committee will be formed by 3 individuals. One is from a member of the Pedestrian Bicycle Commission. The other one is an independent curator. The third member would be the resident that's next door that's adjacent to the passageway. And so when Christine discussed this project, the idea was just to have the internal do the vetting.
So I would just want to ask the Public Arts Subcommittee if you guys are okay with that. Or fellow commissioners, if you're.
It's not my subcommittee, but I really think that it's an arts component and that the Cultural Affairs Commission should be involved in that.
Yeah, I thought it was somehow going to go at least by us to be presented to the commission, just to have a say so we know what's going on. I mean, it's going to be in that book, right, as a public art project?
Yeah, I
No?
mean, I,
She's shaking her head no.
You mean the Red Book?
Yes.
No, the Red Book is just a small downtown area.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe in terms of working through the project, I didn't think about the follow-up with the Public Arts Subcommittee, and that's on me. And I think that, yes, you're right, because we did present the project to the Public Arts Subcommittee, and I think you're right, and I think that we would keep you abreast of the project and as we go through the different steps. And I'll keep you apprised. And I would present to you the selection. Actually, you know what?
So how is that going to work?
No, actually, you are going to be involved because of the fact that
Maintenance and,
from the beginning, it's a given. That's maybe why I didn't mention it. And so that's why I'm like drawing a blank. The Public Arts Subcommittee was going to be involved anyway. But I think the selection of it was going to be a separate group. And to get your blessing, we would obviously have to go through the Public Arts Subcommittee and then present it to the full committee at
that
the
makes
end.
sense, because in the end, in 5 years, when it starts to do whatever it's going to do because of Mother Nature, who would be responsible for the upkeep and maintenance?
Well, the city will be,
They will.
yeah, because it's a city project. It's not a APPP
This is
project.
again, this thing with the MOU, because we're trying to get that done so that there's a regular maintenance schedule, location of art, because not only will it be on the Cultural Affairs Commission, but it will also be on the city for them to follow up and make sure, who's going to make sure that it's maintained from the city?
Well, it's going to be our division that's going to be
Okay.
doing, yeah, because
Just
we've
checking.
been doing that. Starting, when I came on board, it was really about contacting and making sure the maintenance of all the public art, not only the city-owned, but the APP ones are also maintained by private developers.
All right, sorry to interrupt.
That's fine. So just to be clear, Jesse, this question is for you. Other than the scale, obviously, this process for the Farragut passageway is not unlike what we're doing for Charles Gaines, where there was a committee, right? It's essentially the same process. So it is going to come before the subcommittee. Am I right about that?
I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't see why it couldn't. I'm supportive of it. I'm not familiar with the details of how we got to this point. I'd have to look into it, the history of how the determination was made, where it's going. It sounds like Sam's saying the plan was to bring it to you guys. So yes, you guys will have a chance to weigh in on it.
Okay.
I just don't know, because this, this project is complicated because it involves this adjacent property owner. I haven't looked into it. For all I know, there was some sort of legal settlement with the property owner where they get some say in the final say of the property. So I just don't want to misspeak here. I would want to go back and look at the history of how we got to this place. But yeah, I'm supportive of you guys, weighing in on this public art project, for sure.
It's just not the way we normally get public art or art projects, even city-owned projects, right? We usually get them through the subcommittee and hear about them. We don't hear about them in advance. Am I speaking? Does that sound right?
Well, I
This is
just
a
wanted to,
public, this is an art component that's been added to a public works project, so it's fairly unique. And
see.
my understanding is Sam has discussed this with the public art subcommittee in the
Yes.
past.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had talked
I
about it.
don't mean to make a,
It's not the first
out of a
time
molehill.
they've heard about it, and we haven't even issued the call for proposals or anything, so.
Correct, yeah.
Nothing has been decided.
I think it's part of it is just sort of the delay in the launch, because originally we were hoping to launch it last year, but it kind of got put, not in the back burner, but, some things came up. And so I'm trying to launch it in tandem with what Joe Suska is doing, because our plan is to hopefully finish the project in tandem. at the same time. And so, but going back to your question about Public Arts Subcommittee, you're right. And it's an oversight on my part because I've been so involved with the details of it. And now I'm taking a step back and realizing the bigger picture. Yeah, of course, the subcommittee would be involved all the way through.
Okay, thank you. So a couple things about Katie Krantz, our Artist Laureate program. So I know, Jesse, you were just saying that we don't need to put in details, but I just want to say for the record that one of the things that Katie's done in her public outreach is gone to the senior center numerous times and really engaged that community, the senior community, which is a community that isn't as often engaged. So I'm really happy about that. They even had Katie on their calendar as having glaze days because they're all over there glazing. I actually went by the other day and they were all having a great time. Katie brought them some coffee and pound cake, and it was great. It was just great to see that happening. So I just wanted to add that for the record, and whether anything about seniors can be added, because that's, again, a collaboration with Parks and Rec. So I understand that there's challenges there. I have a question for staff about the exhibit, the Dear Culver City exhibit. Is there a reason that the exhibit needs to close on June 10th? Is it not possible to have it through the summer when it's perhaps a lighter work schedule for some people and might be able to see it rather than during the school year, right? That there might be more opportunities for people to engage with that art through the summer.
Yeah, we can certainly extend the exhibition dates. Just from speaking with Katie, we wanted to have kind of a run that is more traditional in the sense of having a show where it's up for 6 to 8 weeks. And so we can certainly extend it if there's interest in extending it. I don't think that it's written in stone that it's going to close June 10th. But if the community wants to, continue to have it up beyond into the summer, I think we would have to get. I would have to look into getting
Nervously
permission.
looks at Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse was making me.
I don't see a problem with it. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, I think the dates were set, in conjunction discussions with Katie. So, like we've done with Culver Current, that's been extended so many different times. So I don't know, if it's better to have an initial run and get people excited that's short and get them out there because it's limited time only. And then you say, surprise, we're extending it due to popular demand. I don't know what's better, so.
I like the second strategy.
Yeah, so.
That works.
If it's popular, people are still going out there, yeah, I'm sure we would extend it. I don't see why not, unless Katie says, the structural integrity of the pottery is going to fail after 6 weeks, in the hot sun. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there are probably factors that we haven't really explored, whether like the durability of the way that it's hung. She also mentioned that, she would like to get the pieces back to the people who made them as well. And so those could be factors in terms of determining whether we extend it or not.
Yeah.
So
I think there's going to be a lot of energy in the area, especially if they do another Juneteenth thing and stuff. So even like an extra 2-3 weeks would probably expose it to a lot more people because there's going to be a lot of energy in the area.
And the summer concert series too, right?
Yeah, and then also the Downtown Business Association does that graduation day where all the grads from the high school go and pick up stuff. It might be a fun thing for them to pass by and
Yeah.
see it too, because some of them have participated.
yeah, these are all great ideas, and I think I can go to Katie and ask her, what her thoughts are. And I'm sure she probably wouldn't have a problem with that, extending it, so.
Yeah. I just think timing, right, just because of summer, right?
Yeah.
If it maybe had shifted to a different time of year, maybe it would be, it wouldn't have come up for me. I want to thank you for including music in the chambers as one of the work plan updates, something that hadn't come up. I'm hoping that Edgar will come to this Performing Arts Subcommittee on that. Obviously, I had brought that to you after former Commissioner, what was his name? I'm sorry, John B. Williams, right? Brought it to us, and I was very much interested in getting that going. So I'm glad that it's finally in there. So I'm looking forward to working on that and to receiving more updates regarding the technical aspects of recreating the space for music. let me just look at my notes here. Sorry, just page by page. Okay, I think that's it for me until we get to the next section, so thank you.
Well, that was interesting. The only thing I'd like to add is that I hope that the Subcommittee for Public Arts can really get our answers that we've been waiting for since October. Some people are supposed to get back to us, and I'd just really like to get that MOU in place so we can make decisions about other projects and upcoming projects without there being questions, so they will know the answers before they start the process. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And that's all. I just wanted to get that on the record, that we had some questions out there that needed to be answered by lawyers. I'm sure they're still researching, but it has been since before October.
So are you are talking about the ordinance updates?
Yes, only because I see, like, when you've listed these projects about, how the work will be cared, upkeep, appraisal, and all that kind of stuff, that's going to be in the MOU, so we won't have to write it ever again. And so once the MOU is done, then that can be, or the ordinance is
Yeah,
completed.
the MOU is with Culver Arts, I think
Okay,
that's.
got it,
But then
sorry.
the ordinance is
Using
our
the wrong
internal
terminology,
document.
the ordinance.
The municipal
yes.
code, yeah, that's what
Yes.
yeah.
So once we get that updated and stamped, then some of these questions or issues shouldn't exist again, hopefully. And that's all.
It does, any suggestions for the ordinance that are made here do have to go to city attorney,
Gotcha.
and then they need to go to city council 2 times before
Okay,
they would
yeah.
even be. Like the powers and duties, the process we went through for that.
Right. So that's what we're waiting on now.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And Chair Williams, to sort of give you an update on that particular issue, the city attorney has been working on a confidential legal memo that they're going to share with the commission this week with answers to those questions, as well as options for the committee to consider for recommendations to the city council on those particular issues that you're most interested in particular the, the Percent for Art program. So I think that'll make it really clear sort of what the issues are. They preferred to do it in a confidential legal memo because it involves legal precedents and things that they would rather, typically discuss in closed session with the city council. So that's why they'd rather do it that way. But we do plan to come back to you in March to discuss the issue again, at which point we can talk about what they talk about in the memo.
Thank you. And would you like to do part 2 now, or should we take a break? Look at your faces. Let's not take a break and go and barrel through. Okay.
Intermission. Okay. So, so many of these are exactly the same or similar for next year, but then there are several distinctions in terms of breaking some things up into multiple bullet points and adding some things. So I'm not going to read them out, but we do have them all on slides that we can refer to. And as Jesse said, the format of this might change somewhat, right?
Correct. And the basis for these are, things that we've, been approved from the city council during the past year, whether or not it was in last year's work plan, it hasn't been completed, or new things that came up during the current year. So what we're looking for from the commission is, recommendations to city council for approval for next year to be, if there are additions or changes to be made to this work plan. Like Chair Williams mentioned, we are a small, mighty staff, and this represents a pretty full slate of activities. So if there are new programs and projects that you want to add, we're going to have to look at how we will get those done, whether it's funding or, requests for additional funding, whatnot. So we can't, guarantee it until we see until council shows us the money and approves the programs. But as they do listen very carefully to the commission. So that's sort of the landscape that we're looking at this prospective work plan with, or the lens where we're looking at this work plan with. I mean, from my perspective, what I've heard so far during the conversation about priorities for next year as far as sort of new activities, it seemed like there was consensus around this city borders project idea. I think that could be wrapped into our efforts with the Olympics and the conversations that come along with the Olympics. I think that's a good idea, and I think that's very doable. The other thing I'm hearing is that there's interest in the music in the chambers. If that's incorrect and there's not a sort of a consensus, then let me know. I mean, that would be a pretty major effort, I think, for the staff. And I'm going to be talking, if there's consensus there, I'll be talking to Edgar about what sort of resources he would need to go forward. It would be interesting to hear from the commission sooner rather than later what the sort of scale of that concert series would be. Is this, anywhere from a professional ticketed event with Philharmonic, world-class performers, or is this like people who happen to play for the Philharmonic but live in the neighborhood who are willing to come and do it for free, and we just open the chambers and we let them come in here? There's a huge cost difference between those two. So I want to make sure that we're sort of hitting the mark in terms of like requesting funding to meet your standards.
Jesse, can I just say on that point, I think this, again, goes back to the ordinance and how that plays out and how much money the performing arts can access versus public art. But I feel very strongly that the musicians need to be paid. First of all, that they're professional musicians. They're like very good players, but that they are paid. I think the actual concert should be free, perhaps, as a city-sponsored event. Edgar will definitely need help, obviously, with the coordination of it. But again, this goes back to what we think we might be able to access in terms of funds.
So I'll follow up on that. I 100% agree with Vice Chair O'Carroll. I would like to think of Music in the Chambers series as separate from our Performing Arts Grants program. Those are community events. And that this is a different scale than the summer concert series, obviously, but A-list musicians, and we've got lots of them in LA. I don't think we need to necessarily go outside of LA, but it would be great if we could. And this is where Culver Arts comes in, and we work to coordinate with them a budget. But I agree, it would be wonderful if we could do it for free, if we could offer this for free. And because the summer concert series is a non-classical series, having a classical music concert series or even a poetry series or something like that would be great. I could go on about this for a long time, and I don't want to, and I don't really think this is the appropriate meeting to do so, but I think the the Performing Arts Subcommittee could certainly contribute to this and give you more of an idea of what we are thinking for a Music in the Chambers series. Yeah.
I think that's sufficient to go on for planning for the budget and for furthering conversations with Culver Arts, for that matter.
Great.
Would you like to look at any of the other pages, or are you looking at them on your screens?
I'm looking through here. So thank you for including the community cultural plan. I know it's been on the back burner. So can you just flesh out a little bit about what's been happening behind the scenes on that for us, just briefly?
For me,
Or
it's-
whoever
the
is,
general plan needs to be finished. And
Okay.
then that will be a result of the general plan.
okay,
That will be a new effort in conjunction with the plan. We need to, hire consultants, et cetera. But a lot of the work is basically done with the general plan, but then having something more specific to arts and culture and about our division.
Lee, I had one comment and one question. Number 11, promote the creative economy, et cetera. Considering we're part of Econ Dev now, I just sort of feel like there's a disconnect, and I would love to hear more about, like, economic vitality outreach. I think there's many opportunities there for cross-pollination, especially like what we're talking about with the Culver City borders and the street banners. And so I would just like to see more of an integration between Econ Dev and Cultural Affairs, or hear more about it, maybe. There might be a lot going on, but we're not hearing about it. So that was one thing. And then I had a quick question for number 17, where it says coordinate the removal and disposition of the Dino's Motel sign. Is that being, when you use the word disposition, is it being thrown away, or is what's happening to that sign?
We don't know yet. It's still there, but they don't want it there. Housing and Human Services does not want it to be there because it's confusing for people and they don't want people coming to the site. We've discussed internally some ideas of what to do with it, and I think what we were going to do is offer it to, I think, the Museum of Neon
Art.
and see if they wanted it
That's great.
in Glendale. And if they want it, we can figure out how to get it to them. But it's a project that we need to work on.
I hope it's not thrown away.
No, that was not one of the options on the table.
Okay, great, thanks.
I think there was some research about historical significance, and there was not historical significance. There was not determined to have historical significance, so that was part of it. That's the thing that's happened so far.
It's just cool looking.
Well, it's quintessential mid-century.
Yeah.
It really is, so I think it does have historical significance.
The technical definition of.
Right, but still. Yeah.
There's a consultant report regarding the research about that.
Sorry?
But it's still ongoing.
Is it Googie architecture? Is it Googie architecture?
It's a sign.
I know, but like those other, I can't think of any of them. I can see them all, but, like pans. Yeah, like pans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could get the Conservancy involved.
I don't know who was up. Can I go? Okay, it's a grab bag. Good. Yeah, it's fun. Excellent. I have a question about, first of all, I want to say that I enjoyed reading all of this, and I want to congratulate you all and thank you all for doing such good work. Talking about the Art in Public Places program in number 4, and the amount of work that Sam has done, I just have to say that this should be a permanent position, and we need it, and let's get it in the budget. Because it's amazing the amount of work, and it's proving, Sam's job is, what he's been doing is proving how much we need this position to be full-time. So on the record now.
Amen to that.
All right.
And one of the reasons there's a section at the end about the upcoming budget development calendar is when all of these are going to be discussed at city council.
Great. I appreciate that. Number 9, identify and cultivate performance spaces and facilitate use of existing venue resources. I just want to point out again that that this possible parks upgrade project in Bots and Vets, we should continue to press for performance venues in those. And I did hear that there was some public pushback on a performance space in Bill Bots. And I just want to publicly say here for the record that I think we could still do things like that, even if it's not at a gigantic scale. And I just want to still see performance space in whatever we do in our park upgrades. I just think that's,
Yeah. And did you see, like, for the current fiscal year, it wasn't its own item.
yeah.
So we're trying to put more emphasis on it that way.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I'm just pointing out that spaces don't have to be a traditional building. It can be a space that we create.
And
So,
Commissioner Wisniewski-Stalen, on that note, the consultant did get that note and will present several options for amphitheaters of different sizes at that location.
great.
Yeah.
I was a little worried. It kept me up a night, so.
This was also meant to incorporate music in the chambers, but, you know, if it's going to be a separate item, we might change this a little bit.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Two upcoming dates. These are subject to change. The formal calendar has not been, the formal budget development calendar has not been distributed yet. But from what I hear at City Clerk, this is the general idea. But please watch all of the elements of the budget development will be publicized. And so please keep an eye on those, and I'll also keep you abreast of those. Because there's a multi-step process, if you remember, of looking at the current year, talking about enhancements, there's a lot of, steps in the process of turning this work plan into a budget. There's no vote necessary, I don't think. Nope. So Chair Williams, would you like to move on to the next item?
Good.
One more time for the
Sorry.
minutes?
Public comment, items not on the agenda, continue.
There was no other request for public comment.
Members and staff.
Can I start?
I was going to start with you, but we usually start with staff,
Please
no?
start with staff. I just have a quick one. Coming up this Saturday and Sunday are two shows by Brockus Red Dance Company at Veterans Memorial Building. This event is free for Culver City residents, and please check the city website for information and links. And then in March and April, there will be music and dance performances at several locations, so watch your email for news about those too. And all of these performances are supported by the Performing Arts Grant Program. 14 grant contracts for 2024 have been finalized. The other 16 are in progress, so there's going to be lots and lots of show announcements this year. Thank you. Sam?
I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
I have an update on the Cultural Affairs Manager position. So I'm excited to let you know that we have an accepted offer from somebody. I cannot divulge their name until they've passed the background check and medical exam, but it's looking like they'll be able to start before the end of March. So maybe even in time for the next CIC meeting.
Awesome.
And I'll let you know as soon as I am able.
Thank you.
But I'm excited. I think they're going to work very well with all of you and make a big impact in the city here.
Great.
Can you?
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Any more?
No,
Okay,
no more for
great.
staff.
Commissioner Mascali.
Yeah, I just have a few things that I was involved in. I'm on the Fine Arts Council for Firehang Foundation, as you guys know. We had a really successful collaboration with the Craft Contemporary, an exhibit called Art Iran. It's been 6 years in process. It started with a curatorial competition in which we put out, similar to an RFP, curators of Iranian background to then sponsor Iranian artists and put together a show. And it happened since the last meeting. It's still open now. I encourage all of you to take a look at it. There was over 700 people in attendance. It was the biggest opening in Craft Contemporary's history. And there's continued events there. There was a family event that I didn't go to because it was during the Super Bowl, but that was also seemingly very successful. So yeah, I encourage all of you to check that out. I also met with Katie Krantz on a few occasions since the last meeting, and I picked up some floor plans of the gun store from Jesse just to mull some ideas about. I've also had conversations with Dan O'Brien on council regarding the potential for there to be performing and art supporting activities happening at the gun store location in the time being, either in an interim capacity or long-term capacity. The feedback that I've gotten from stakeholders is that the city spent over $6 million on the building, and just having a fun art place for them, for kids and people to hang around and do art, is probably not the most fiscally responsible decision. But since it seems like the underlying discussions around the property is affordable housing and higher density and all that, there could be a community component, which could be art-focused, that is involved with the affordable housing component. So individuals from Culver Arts have also caught wind of my activities and are interested in figuring out a way for art development and supporting art in the community to be a part of that site in some capacity in the future. So those are two things that I've been working on. Another thing that I wanted to add is that I've worked in entertainment quite significantly in the past, and I think it might be an interesting idea to start a email list specifically for attendance and events that are tied to the city, with one of those specific RSVP type systems. If we had a listserv, because successful event planning operations, and whether we like to admit it or not, we are an event planning operation. They have your value is how many people you have access to through emails that are consistently being contacted. So I think that might not be a bad idea to start that. So for example, the summer series and the chamber and all of the grantees and this and that, we should have a form on the website or publicize an area in which people who are interested in being in the know about all the events that we do, we just press a button and all of a sudden 6,000 people get an email, RSVP for this event, and they'll be in the know, they'll get a text message, they'll get an email. When they come here, we'll have their name, and over time, that will grow into a bigger and bigger and more valuable list, a communication list, just an idea.
Mascali. Commissioner Tanya? Sorry, I'm blanking this day.
It's fine. Nothing from me.
Commissioner Leonora. Sorry, I can't do last names today.
Thank you. I just want to say I attended the Culver City Arts Foundation retreat, which was held on a Sunday in the upstairs of the Kirk Douglas Theater, and I had a really terrific turnout. And they covered a lot of territory. They're always so dynamic and involved, and they also added some really impressive new board members and advisory board members. So it was great to attend and get more even of the big picture and all the activities that they're doing in the fundraising. Thanks.
Commissioner Janine.
Thank you, Chair Brenda.
I love it.
I don't have much, but have been passing out that red book. And every time I take it to a business, not in downtown, but farther west, people have been really touched by it, moved by it. So bravo. It makes people feel good.
And if you hear of anyone who wants a stack, just let me know, like, I can, we can deliver a box or,
So I took it to some new businesses that opened, new
Great.
restaurants that opened, and they seem to be particularly interested. So that might be an idea to, like a city housewarming gift, you know? That's, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, I found this on the web for housewarming.
Okay. I didn't, that is so weird.
Siri's always listening.
She's planning my life. Oh, I went to MLK Day. Chair Brenda was there. We sat together. That was wonderful. We packed some boxes for people, yes, for Home Key. That was wonderful. And I also joined the, and I saw Commissioner Muscali there as well, the Culver City District Community Arts Team, to help out there. That's it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. I attended the Contrapunctus concert. That was absolutely fabulous. I didn't get enough of the harpsichord, because that's one of my favorite instruments, but they were wonderful. The president of that group was extremely generous. I got to go backstage and meet everyone, and it was really, really a great concert, so well done.
can I
kind
add
of
something about them? So they did 2 concerts. The first one, they had a very difficult time getting anybody to attend. The second one, they had a great turnout. They're looking at larger venues. They've been a great addition to the grant program. So thank you for going. It
Yeah,
really means a
it's
lot to
really
them.
great. Yeah, it did. And it was really wonderful. I took a friend, she thought it was great. She was like, oh, it reminds me of my childhood. So I was really glad to attend that. And that's it. Again, I was with Commissioner Wisniewski-Stalin, and, we did our MLK community commitment, and it was wonderful. Everyone was great, and they had a great event afterwards with a good band and music, and it was a great day. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moved by Commissioner Muscali, seconded by Vice Chair O'Carroll. Stop motion record and start voting. Do you have a, oh my gosh. Wow, okay. The motion passes unanimously with, wait, hold, let me get it to display. There we go. Okay, I gotta take back the.